One thing that's a really good question, and an important question too, because there's pros and cons of this, is should I include a picture on my resume? Certainly with the templates and things you can do, it's not too hard to do. It's actually pretty easy to do. So should I do it? Should I include a picture on my resume or not? Because there's certainly some pros to it and there's certainly some cons to it. So let's take a look at both of those, and then you can kind of decide for what works best for you. So on the yes side of it, yes, definitely include a picture of yourself on your resume, like in this example here of Jane Doe. I'm sure that's not her real name. Is the yes is that shows you as your professional self, right? As your professional headshot. Like you'd use for LinkedIn, for example. And you can say, well, why not have a pro to it on my resume? Is it's on my LinkedIn profile anyways, right? So why not have in both spots? It's easy, it matches up. And so you can include it because it shows you as your professional self. If you don't have a professional looking picture one, get one. It doesn't have to be something you go to a studio for. Just have someone take your picture, use your phone or whatever. Just make it look, like a nice professional headshot photo. Or you might be yes because it's required in your particular industry. Certainly for like an actor or actress or a model, they're going to need headshots. They might even need samples of their work, for example. So that would be more of a requirement, where for many jobs it's not required to be a programmer or an accountant. Also, the other thing too is that headshots or photos are very noticeable. Actually, pictures draw attention. When I first put this lesson up, or I put these different things, probably the first thing you saw was this woman's picture, or drew your eye to it, then like the rest of the text and all that kind of stuff. Because images, and particularly pictures of faces, draw attention to them. And make them stand out, makes you look a little bit longer, a little bit closer. And this is proven. Studies show this. I mean, the eye studies, watching eye tracking and results of different things, different A/B studies. Like if I have a picture on a marketing campaign and one with a picture of a human being and one without, you tend to have better results with the picture of people. Because that's just a human nature. They're very noticeable. Your eye is drawn to it. That's like if you look at like YouTube, like thumbnails, right? The little things on the side when you do a search on YouTube, and it's got all these different type of pictures of people or whatever, or these different things to click on a video to watch. You'll see that they tend to use faces in there a lot. And sometimes they have like goofy expressions or whatever, because they're trying to draw attention to their thumbnail, and then they want you to click through to that, because that's how YouTubers make money. Is when you're watching videos, every time a video gets watched, they get a little bit of money from an advertiser if they're trying to monetize YouTube. Here's an example for you, and yeah, full disclosure, it's going to be a little weird, so hang in there. And so here's the deal. So here's a picture of an actual YouTuber, successful YouTuber, and fair warning, my wife and son love Pokemon Go, where you walk around and catch Pokemon. And so I play Pokemon Go too. Yes, who knew that I'm a Pokemon Go kind of person? I like my wife and son because I love my family. I want to do things with them, and they like to play Pokemon, so I'm playing Pokemon, right? So if we look at like an example of how these pictures can be impactful in the YouTube world, here's an example from Pokemaster Holly. Holly's the one with the red hair, and some pictures blue hair, or is that pink? More pink hair, and then blue in the lower corner. But you can see how she's using pictures and an expression. Now for your resume picture, if you're going to put a picture, you want your professional headshot. You don't want to be wearing weird ears, and like this weird expression of like, look, I found a Latias. Yes, I do know what a Latias is. And that's a shiny Latias, but nonetheless. So there, full Pokemon disclosure there. But that's why YouTubers use pictures to draw attention to their thumbnails, to draw attention to their videos. And you can do the same thing with resumes. Okay, now that we know I do the Pokemon thing, let's talk about why you would not include a picture on a resume. And there's some really significant reasons why not to. I mean, we just laid out some pros that sound pretty good, but why wouldn't you? And this gets a little darker and unfortunate, really, to be honest with you. And the reason you wouldn't would be, one is bias or discrimination, right? People look at that picture, like let's look at this picture of Jane Doe here. People could discriminate against her based on her gender, based on her look, based on the color of her skin, maybe on her age. She's too young, she's too old, whatever. Discrimination bias happens. It's terrible, but it happens. So by not including picture, it doesn't allow one person to maybe screen you out because they've got a viewpoint that is, maybe not a great viewpoint, but it doesn't give them a reason to discriminate you, against you. For example, for myself, at least my today self, right? a little bit older guy, right? And then if I was applying for some positions, maybe a senior executive position, I have that kind of experience, they'd be like, oh, look, he's got some gray hair. He's obviously got experience. Look at that work experience there. Yeah, he looks like a good professional guy. So for that, they might hire me, or at least move me on or say, yeah, he fits the profile from a picture standpoint. Again, that's bias, right? Fits the profile? What's that? From a picture? That's discrimination. That's bias. Just on my look, I might not know how to do anything. You just base me on my look. On the same token is age discrimination. Like, oh, look at that guy. We need somebody who's younger, somebody who's technically savvy. Somebody who could like maybe make videos for us or knows how to do marketing and stuff around like video marketing and things. That's who we need, a young person to do that, not this old guy. Well, obviously with the success I've had with training and video development, this old guy can do some stuff. So, and bring a lot more to that position possibly too. But again, they're getting that all from a picture right off the bat. Remember, the first thing they probably are going to see is that picture. So that's another, a big no reason to not include a picture is that bias or discrimination you can run into that could, eliminate you from maybe getting that great job and working for that great manager because somebody earlier in the process screened you out because of their own bias and discrimination. And then sometimes it might be company policy too, or personal policy. I prefer not to see resumes with pictures. I've even in the past, especially with larger companies, I've directed folks, do not, like from our human resource teams, I've said to them, do not forward me a resume that has a picture on it. Absolutely no, full stop, do not do that. And the reason why is I don't want to be, accused of bias or discrimination. I'm not, but let's say we decide not to hire somebody that maybe could come back and say, oh, you saw my picture, and then you decide not even to, go forward with my resume, or you decided not to even interview me, or you decided to do that, not even doing an interview because of your own bias. And I don't even want to get into that. There's a lot of good candidates out there, and maybe I'm going to miss out on that number one candidate, maybe the top 3, 4 candidates. You know what? It's not worth it in some cases, especially if it's a company policy type thing. So be aware with that. Use both, weigh both of them. And certainly think about from your professional self, but there's pros and cons. Now you decide whether you want to include a picture or not. When we look at some resume examples, you'll see some with pictures, some with not pictures, and you can decide from there. But I wanted to let you know both the pro of that and some of the unfortunate cons to it as well.